Alright, hey there everybody. Starting a bit early, the stream may be a bit rocky today, feeling a little under the weather, but I don't think I have COVID-19 or anything like that. Okay, hope everybody out there is healthy. Alright, so this video, the stream has a subtitle, kind of a special sort of thing going on here. So what I'm going to do is revisit an old landmark. Actually, let me just look for it. Haha. Bay City. Alright. So this gets really interesting, kind of digging back into the history of Second Life a little bit. But I just wanted to point out that I made this landmark on May 8th, 2008. Jesus Christ, Rocky. I should have had an extra cup of coffee. 2008 is when I made this landmark. Quite a while ago, right? And it's actually got a specific coordinates. I made this landmark myself. God, this is like the roughest live stream ever. Okay, so before I actually get into the nuts and bolts of the stream, I wanted to give everyone a little background to Bay City and explain why I'm returning. So, this is the Wikipedia page for Bay City, which I'm going to paste into the chat. And it's pretty interesting. At the time, just think back, this was 2008. A lot of crazy stuff was happening back then. Second Life was more unstable than it had perhaps ever been since the beginning of its creation, and it was also kind of like after the big boom too of all the traffic and all the corporations flooding into Second Life. And so Linden Lab, for whatever reason, they cooked up this crazy idea to create this city within Second Life, another landmass like the mainland called Bay City, which actually was a really cool idea and very ambitious. They wanted to make it all like modular, and it was going to be like the next generation of like automatic urbanization kind of in Second Life. Really fascinating. I don't know, this as a semi-anthropologist, and a digital anthropologist and digital historian, this stuff just blows my mind because it's so just bizarre but amazing. So, anyway, the reason that I got really interested in this was because at the time I was building a lot of like props and stuff, and I sort of got entangled with the so-called resident builders who are known as moles, which is this is like the most interesting thing, right? Kind of into the bizarre sociopolitics of Second Life. Basically, like Linden Labs needed a bunch of assets and creations and stuff for Bay City, but they didn't want to like necessarily pay people to do all the work, so they created this sort of like specialized role within Second Life called the moles, which were just like regular residents who could then sort of have this badge of authority vested upon them by Linden Labs, and then they would be able to like create these sort of like somewhat official assets for the city and for other Second Life builds. And it was just a really interesting kind of arrangement. And I think it still exists, although there doesn't appear to be a Wikipedia page. Let me just read this one quote out here because I thought it was kind of cool. We hope that the residents of this new city will produce interesting and attractive structures in styles appropriate to the period 1930 to 1960 when most of our buildings were erected. In any case, the residents of Bay City will form a unique and bustling community. So this is a really interesting sentence for many reasons. First, like the period that they chose, 1930 to 1960, very interesting. Like, why would you pick that particular time period? Very curious. And then also, like this reference to the city becoming a unique and bustling community, as though it were possible to somehow engineer a community. So, some really fascinating ideas here, and some trivia in this article that's kind of interesting that I'm not gonna read out loud. Um, so, like, I think there's 22 regions or something in the initial Bay City, and then they merged in the team grid, which was a whole bunch of additional regions, and now it's like, here's the map, which is kind of cool. I'm actually really impressed with this Wikipedia entry here, that they went to so much trouble. You can see how there's like these roads that are laid out in a very specific configuration. Like I was saying, that was all part of the modular design of Bay City, where each sim was kind of like a module that would tile and connect with the other modules, which uh, were made up of both bays, or not bays, canals, and a roadway system. So, once again, you got to give them props for uh, being so ambitious. It really was a pretty incredible exercise in city building and in city planning for something that was going to exist in a virtual world as sort of a speculative project. There's specific landmarks within the city that are kind of like extra special points of interest. The center, the fairgrounds, the railway, airport, theater, cafe, etc., etc. Like, anyway, so they had big dreams and big hopes. And so back in 2008, when I first went to Bay City, I remember thinking, like, wow, this is totally going to flop, because it's like a planned community sort of thing, and those hardly ever go well in real worlds, much less in virtual worlds. But as it turned out, it really did have kind of a lot of steam behind it and turned into quite an interesting project. So, without further ado, we're going to return to Bay City in 2020 to see exactly how things have changed in all the years that have transpired between that date and the current time. So here we are in the actual location where I made the landmark, and believe it or not, I can remember this. I remember this, like, sort of slightly art deco little cafe that I made the landmark in 2008. It hasn't changed at all. This is just like a snapshot from 2008. And I think this was before sculpts, maybe, because these look like all prim objects, but I don't know. Can't be 100% sure. So yeah, back in 2008, I ended up exploring Bay City really extensively. I didn't make a video or anything. I just started walking around and exploring. And then I ended up in the Cafe Deco, and that's where I made the landmark. So here we are. This is one of the many sims of Bay City, and it's a huge area. Like, you could probably spend a week really just exploring. I'm gonna just take off in a random direction and see what is to be seen. I mean, on one hand, this build could be considered a time capsule, in the sense that it is parts of it have remained untouched since back then, but there are definitely other parts of the city that have been developed and are completely new and have been updated with all like the new technologies and assets and stuff. So we really just don't know what we're gonna find walking through Bay City. I guess these are shops. I kind of want to try to find some of the landmarks. Oh yeah, that reminds me. One thing I read about in the Wikipedia article that I thought was kind of interesting was the building like toolkit that the malls and Linden Labs came up with to help people like quote unquote build in the style that that they were hoping Bay City would end up being populated with. What does that say? Dark Lane Tower? um, so yeah, it was kind of cool. There's like a tower or a, I can't remember exactly where. There's some kind of location in Bay City where you can go into the location and then go and find an information desk and then receive this like package of all these assets. Oh, those are kind of cool lights. Those look like a newer asset. So presumably those are still there somewhere, and like God knows what all would be included in that package. But that I think would be a really cool time capsule as well, like an actual time capsule made up of 3D objects. So yeah, I don't know how long I'm gonna. Oh God, here it is. Oh, this is actually super cool. We got a few really interesting things here. Firstly, we have another one of these old-timey lanterns that I said I'm gonna rate every single one of these I come across, because they're just like, it's like the teapot in 3D designing. It's one of those artifacts that modelers love to make over and over again for various reasons. I'm gonna give this one like a 6.5 out of 10. Here's a Nixie clock. That's pretty cool. Although it looks like those aren't actually truly articulated tubes. Interesting. It's also not adjusted for daylight savings time, which is kind of intriguing, even though it is displaying the right time. If it was not DST. Oh, that's cool. A little dirigible. Yeah, that's super cool. Hoping this elevator works, but don't have very high hopes here. Okay, I'm just gonna see if I can fly up to the top. Well, I guess it's fine that it didn't work, because there's really nothing up here except for this little mezzanine. In a lot of ways, I feel like Second Life is sort of a visual representation of a kind of global subconscious. I feel like if I was dreaming and I was able to go into my brain while I was sleeping and see all the like cluttered remnants of consciousness in there, it would look something like this. Just like random towers with elevators going up one floor to a mezzanine with just a few scattered items. Very like surreal and mysterious. What do we have here? Molesworth Point Lighthouse. So yeah, you'll see the word mole like all the time everywhere because Bay City to a large degree I think was mostly built by the moles. In which case, you know, they of course wanted to take credit since they weren't getting paid at all for their work. They should at least be able to get, you know, some sort of that's funny, there's like a shower in the lighthouse. Sure, I guess, why not? Cool. That's pretty neat. You can walk, actually just straight up walk all the way to the top of the lighthouse. That's cool. Can't really tell what this is out here. It's just like a little park walkway kind of area. I don't know. I feel like Bay City was a worthwhile experiment and a really cool project. So I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea because of course I'm gonna say some like mildly critical things about it too. But honestly, I think it was an amazing effort and collaboration between the lab and the residents. Oh, this must be the carnival that they were talking about in the. Oh, yeah, see, here's like the mascot of the moles. See this guy all over the place. Those are pretty cool mushrooms. The Talpid taps back. Would have been nice if there was a date on there. I mean, like a year date. It's a shame because these could all be from God knows when. Yeah, they had eight celebrations, maybe more. Yeah, I'm gonna paste the SL URL in here. Even sorry, I didn't notice your chat until just now. This is Second Life. Just Google Second Life or go to secondlife.com and you'll find like all the information you could want and then some. And yes, it is the coolest game ever made, in my opinion. Literally the coolest game ever made. Wow, are there actual residents over there in that building? I don't think so. Oh yeah, getting back to my earlier train of thought, this is like a health club with nobody working out. What I was gonna say is like the tragedy of Bay City is that they created this absolutely amazing project, and yet, as you can see, it's pretty, it's not really being used very much. This looks like a prison over here. I mean, there are certain areas that are a lot more concentrated than others where there's a lot more activity. So, I wouldn't say judge everything by this one area that I'm in, but this is like a haunted house of some sort over here. Absolutely, the coolest thing about Bay City is it's just like, it's so huge. It's super massive. You can just, walk around for days. Oh, I should have brought my flashlight. You can barely see anything in here. Channel Island. Can't read that word. Asylum, maybe? I don't know. This poor lonely sculpture at the at the desk. Yeah, it does say asylum. So I guess there's the mental institution. Pretty atmospheric and creepy. That's really like upsetting that I couldn't walk in the front door. However, because this is there's no landing point in Bay City, I should just be able to like do a short range teleport right inside. Or not. I guess there is actually a landing point out front. Oh well. Honestly, I don't like insane asylums very much, so I don't mind the fact that I didn't get to explore in there. One cool thing about Bay City too that I don't know if this is still true, but initially the first time I visited here was like when it was still under construction, and the canals, all of the canal infrastructure, like all of these bridges and like water locks and stuff, they all had like scripted controls that would allow you to actually like lift the drawbridges and like basically just activate the water transit system, which was kind of cool. And I don't know if they did this on purpose or not, but like anybody just wandering around could do it. So I was like, I spent like half an hour just playing around with the like water locks and stuff. Oh, cool. Yeah, another positive, really positive thing about Bay City, like very open, like it was meant to be kind of an exposition, right, for the technology and capabilities and just cool potential of Second Life. Well, it's sad there's nothing in the fridge. My avatar is so hungry. He's just skin and bones. Could have at least left an old hot dog in there or something for neotoy story. Oh, that's cool. She has like a cutout like of her avatar so that you can see what she looked like or looks like. I suppose she probably still exists. This is a pretty nice build, actually. Frame rate's kind of crappy because of there's just a lot of geometry, like tons and tons of things in Bay City. I thought for sure those were doors, but apparently not. What? Okay, it just goes up to oh, there we go. It took a while for the skylight to open. Oh, a helipad. Nice. So yeah, it looks kind of like this area. The sim is a little more developed than the others. Oh, maybe the canals are still working. That would be cool if I could show you guys what I was talking about. Also, why is it like perpetual night here? I need to change the there we go. Now we can see. Let there be light. Lots of empty buildings. Although that's totally normal for Second Life. Buildings are just so often just props in Second Life. Even when they're designed to be like fully lived in. Oh, this is cool. There's some high quality assets in here. This little space heater. Look at that little sculpture. The hell am I stuck on my own avatar? That's cool. Oh, it's all one object. Really like this fan. It's some solid work right there. Corey Ito. One of the OGs. That's nice. So yeah, clearly there are certain parts of Bay City that are still like heavily trafficked and used. Let's just do a random sample of the land and see what the traffic is. So 186 a day. I guess that's like in the last 24 hours or so. There's been 186 other residents in this particular area. Given how large Bay City is, I feel like that's not like a bad number, honestly. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's not a water lock, but I'm gonna find one eventually. It's only a matter of time before we come across one. So another interesting thing I read in the Wikipedia article was like when they first like released Bay City or had the properties available for people to buy, because that was kind of the scheme, I guess, in a way. Like there were gonna be sort of key sims. That's a cool barbecue. That were like Linden owned, or maybe like Linden slash Mole owned, that were then kind of like the keystones of Bay City, or the attractors. And then there would be surrounding sims and subdivided properties that were all like open for residents to lease from Linden Labs. So in that way there would be kind of like a patchwork of official and unofficial parcels that would form sort of the tapestry of Bay City. And when they first made the public parcels available for people to start leasing, a lot of them sold for like a ridiculously high amount of money, because a lot of the real estate barons in Second Life were like, wow, this is gonna be the next big thing. Bay City is gonna just like draw so many residents, and it's gonna, oh god, this is just freaking adorable. Wow, that looks like photogrammy. Crazy. That's a 3D scan. Huh. Yeah, you can see how crude parts of it are, like here where the scanning wasn't complete. So it's like they had just like maybe a handful of photos to go from to create the 3D mesh, but it's still a cool effect. It's crazy that stuff like this that's in this state of unrefinement would be sold on the marketplace, but there it is. Pretty impressive. I mean, in a sense, that's a testament to how robust Second Life is as an environment and as a platform. The fact that people can upload meshes like that. This is kind of a cool grunge set. No thanks. I think I'll keep my wind light settings if it's all the same to you. Nice DJ table. trash panda. It's a nice mesh. Although it looks like yeah, it's a multi-model, not an animesh, but still impressive nonetheless. It's a sleeping raccoon. You can see my name right on the screen on ONZ. It's Neotoy Story. That's cool, like ferret. Got an infestation. I kind of like how Second Life is special in the sense that there's a lot of zombie builds or zombie sims in Second Life where the creator has just kind of like stepped off, but they're still paying to lease the sim, so their creation just kind of like is like a mosquito caught in amber, you know, that not only is dated to like a time period of Second Life, but maybe a stage in that creator's time in Second Life, and yet they're like on display kind of in perpetuity in some instances. Wow, that's a really nice like tile. Look at all those tiles are articulated. That's pretty impressive. Soy. Seen that name several times. Hey, look at that triangular faucet handle. You don't see that very often, but it's actually the most ergonomic and easy to use in real life. So good for you, Soy. Applying actual usability standards to virtual props. Get extra credit. There's another lighthouse. So yeah, some of these parcels are like privately owned by individuals, and like I said before, others are sort of co-owned, I guess you could say, by Moles and Linden Labs. This is like a really cramped house. I feel like my 7-foot tall avatar is feeling pretty cramped in here. Claustrophobic. Oh yeah, so there's some additional like infrastructure here too for the whole like canal theme. Like there's these hoists and winches and stuff. It's even worth inspecting. I love how they use like all the official like old style Second Life textures too for the infrastructure. It really gives it like an authentic sort of, I don't know, like official feel to it. Second Life Oil and Petroleum Company. It's kind of ironic, really. Sometimes I think about just like how much oil it must take to keep Second Life running and on 24/7. It's kind of mind-boggling, really. Alright, is this elevator gonna work? Nope. You never know, like half the time an elevator is a prop and the other half it's actually fully functional. Okay, is there even anything inside here? Is it just... Oh yeah, there's actual floors and the elevator does actually go up. If there's anything in here, it'll just be the penthouse or the roof. It looks like there's nothing. Even the lobby was pretty like sparsely populated. It's hard to like pick places to look at more closely in Bay City because there's just so many. It's like, I think I'll skip the marijuana dispensary. My avatar is already as high as he wants to be. This is a really nice build here. Alright, here's a big bridge. I don't know if this bridge connects the teen regions or, let's see, where does this go? This is like the longest bridge in Bay City, I think. Like a really long suspension bridge, and what does it connect? Can't remember from the map if this is the teen grid or not. Like, this is Bay City proper, and then these are the merged regions, maybe? I'm not sure. This is kind of cool, though. This is a totally different and far more simplified layout than the Bay City, so I'm actually not going to cross that bridge. I want to try to stay within the actual Bay City bounds as much as possible. Just regular residential unit there. Right, I think I already went inside that one. Yeah, I recognize that barbecue. God, I kind of wish that I'd read the Wikipedia article a little more closely. I mean, most of the cool stuff that I read in there, like, I forgot it immediately, which is kind of annoying, because I wanted to check out all the specific landmarks. But given the size of Bay City, I think that's probably more or less impossible. Oh yeah, I remember this too. They have a cable car system that runs throughout the entire city, which is pretty fantastic. And talk about a feat of a scripting feat. That is like a real accomplishment. I think I remember taking it too, like when I first checked out Bay City back in 2008. Hey, look at that. There's a couple of other residents. Oh right, there's an info hub, or I think they might have said even a couple info hubs too within Bay City. There they go, changing my wind light settings again without my permission. First primitive created on private property, March 26, 2004. That's kind of weird. That can't be right. Wow, it really was created in 2004. That's nuts. Wow. It's like a slightly little piece of history there. One of the moles must have been hoarding that in their inventory or something. Things are getting pretty interesting now. This is probably one of the like points of interest, I would imagine. Oh, the police station. I think I remember that mentioned in the Wikipedia article. Maybe that was where the like creator toolkit was located. I'm kind of like on a treasure hunt today too, in addition to... God, why don't any of these doors work? This is really frustrating. Ugh. I'd go back to the Wikipedia page and look, but I have the feeling that as soon as I open up the page and try to find what I'm looking for, it's just going to be lost forever, and I'll either have to reread the whole article, which will take too long for the stream, or I'm just going to have to keep wandering around until I find it on accident, which is probably just about as likely as me immediately noticing it if when I open the Wikipedia page. I mean, I feel like it would be really nice if Bay City had more like signage, you know, because I don't really know where I am. It kind of feels like a public space with some kind of like
Hello.
points of interest, but there isn't really any like specific signage. It looks pretty much like Second Life in general, with a lot of diverse and colorful builds. That was one thing that they clearly didn't succeed at when they had initially planned to have most of the buildings and structures within Bay City to fall within a specific time frame of a few decades of styles, but instead it seems like over time it just sort of degenerated into sort of the average Second Life experience. So this is pretty cool. This like shoe house, like the old woman that lived in the shoe sort of thing. Looks like you can go up to the roof, or at least you could if my avatar could fit through that tiny little hole. Yeah, that's definitely cool. Wow, great job on the textures. Those are neat props too. C made this. Mad P. Oh yeah. Mad P is like this collective of builders in Second Life. They produce all kinds of things. They've got some really talented people working with them. Even for a while, I was like, someone solicited me to work with Mad P, and I was like, maybe, and then it just things kind of fell through. I ended up not having time at the time to actually work on anything for them. And also I think there was like an economic incentive too, that I kind of like felt like I had to make some money in Second Life back then. That's cool, like a astrolabe type thing. No idea what this is. Seems kind of like a business, kind of like an art gallery. Looks like a public park. Okay, let's see, we got some information here. Miramare Place. I think that's just an advertisement. I thought it was a signboard. Okay, here's a map of the Tri-City area. Oh wow, Ahern is included in this map. That's cool. So you can walk all the way from Ahern to Bay City following Route 66. That's actually super cool. Okay, so the suburbs, that's where that long bridge goes to. Airport, and I am in the Nova Albion region. Let's see, points of interest. Industrial Park. Oh yeah, Moose Beach. That's like one of the newest areas, and there's a info hub there. Oh, okay, so there's there's 5 info hubs. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Alright, so I probably want to walk west if I can. It might be cool to see if I can take advantage of the public transit too. Oh, this is pretty interesting, whatever this is. Just like a random art object. Okay, let's see, there's another info kiosk over here. Might be worth waiting for a few minutes for this to res. It says exploration, and that's what I'm all about, so I'm kind of curious. Yeah, it could just be like a slideshow of all the objects, or... There we go, okay. 7 major continents, cities. Am I not even in Bay City anymore? If I'm in Nova Albion and they're saying that's actually not the same as Bay City, then I definitely have to travel west. Okay, let me verify this on the map. I actually want to see if I can cross into Bay City if I'm not in Bay City right now. So here's the bridge that leads to Bay City. So let's TP right here to Barcola. Okay, that's funny. This is like right where I was earlier. I actually crossed the bridge out of Bay City. That's pretty funny. Okay. And of course, it's night in Bay City in the middle of the day in Nova. Yeah, this is much more like cool coming into Bay City. Like, I feel like I'm actually entering a city. I kind of feel like the main characteristics of Bay City are like its spaciousness, while still seeming like intentionally crafted. Unlike so many regions in Second Life are spacious and they may have like a house or two here or there, but they don't feel like intentionally crafted like Bay City does. Which of course it is intentionally crafted, which is probably why it feels that way. Alright, let's change the sun. Those look like those ornamental like cypress tree things, but they haven't rezzed yet. This warehouse like intrigued me. That's why I went off road. It's like your standard industrial warehouse slash office. Holy shit, I've already been in here. Unless there's multiple copies. Alright, those trees are rezzing now. That's pretty cool with the sprites before they res. It really shows you kind of behind the scenes of how the composition was created. Alright, okay, so I did completely wander out of Bay City the first time around. One of the few, like, liabilities of exploring without any real plan whatsoever. But I do know that I haven't been over here to this side. And thankfully, in Second Life, everything is just a single click away. That's a really cool tree. I actually think it almost looks cooler, like, before it's rezzed. Like this ghostly kind of gossamer green area. That's a beautiful freaking tree, though. I can't wait until it actually rezzes. Maybe this one. HPMD. Sasaya. Probably like downloading gigabytes of texture data right now. All these vending machines. Some nice work. Wonder if the same person made all these, probably. Yeah, Soy made all these. I like how there's just futons laying right in the living room with somebody actually sleeping. I didn't even notice there was an avatar here. Crashed out on the floor. In Second Life, you can. You know, that's like the polar opposite of like the anti-meth campaign. It's like a meth, not even once. It's like waking up in a gutter at 4 a.m. Oh, those are some nice cone flowers, even though the textures haven't rezzed yet. Waking up in a gutter at 4 a.m. wearing a rabbit suit isn't normal, but on meth it is. Not even once. So in Second Life, it's like, yes, you can. Whatever you want to do, you can do it, and there are no consequences. So instead of not even once, it should be like 24/7 all the time, just whatever you please. Ugh, somebody like rezzed this parcel and it's stopping me from walking inside the house. That is kind of hilarious, although I saw everything inside anyway. But beautiful build and assets here. I'm just waiting for things to res because there's so much going on here. Whoa. It's a very like active turkey. Quail or whatever this is. Oh, it's an animesh too. Oh, it's a pheasant, of course. Ugh. I couldn't identify it because the textures hadn't fully rezzed yet. Wonder if there's an actual newspaper. I wonder how recent this is. Is there a date? It's number 85. 2003, I think, is the date. That can't be right. No idea. Yeah, that pheasant looks pretty good once the texture's fully loaded. Beautiful. It's a little twitchy though. Looks like the bed's floating in the air. Perfect mood music. We're exploring the grid. Ugh, can't get through these doors. Too tall or something, I don't know. I was gonna fly out the window like Peter Pan. It ruined my exit. Oh my god, I remember this from 2008. Holy cow. Oh my god. No way. I remember being impressed back then. I was like, wow, that's a pretty cool sci-fi area, and it like... But I mean, that was like Unreal Tournament era, you know? So it wasn't all that weird. That's crazy. It's a weird thing to like stick in my head. Hey there. Hey Argon. Don't mind me, I'm just exploring Bay City. Nice place you got here. That's cool. Oh, whoa, there's like birds walking around and stuff. Are those cormorants? No way. Oh, it's just a duck. Although that's a really good duck. And that is also an animesh? I can't tell. Looks like an animesh. Oh no, it's a multi-mesh, damn. Whoa. Little duckling too. That's pretty cool. I like how there's these nice little like tranquil areas in Bay City. Just little like cozy park type areas that you can stumble across. Alright, I think I'm just gonna... I was gonna like try to stay on the walkways, but honestly, I think I'm just gonna fly across. Although I do want to check this out first though. Okay, here's one of those drawbridges I was talking about. And now back in the day, you could actually like click on like I don't remember if it was a lever or if it was just that sign. You would like click on it and the drawbridge would like open. Oh yeah, bridge controller, cool. So yeah, oh my god, it still works. I gotta say that like that just gave me like warm fuzzy feelings all over, because that was a magical time exploring Bay City in 2008, and the fact that this stuff is still working is just incredible. Thank you, Second Life. That is so cool. I mean, how cool is that? Seriously. Alright, this looks pretty modern. Over here, these assets are all like more or less brand new looking to me. Okay, I'm just gonna ignore that, walk off the premises, and then use my eye in the sky to see what's going on over here. Wow, my frame rate is just like getting like 6 FPS right now. But I mean, it's not a surprise. You look at the geometry over here, like every single thing is like just super over articulated. Like, oh my god, look at this. Look at this control panel. There's probably like 10 million polygons in there. Actually, that's mostly normal maps, never mind. Probably gonna take half an hour just for all these textures to res. Oh my god. Wow, no expense was spared. Jesus Christ, even like the key fob has like buttons and normal maps and even the keyring. Oh my god, seriously. I hope whoever lives in this house owns like a really high quality like VR rig, because otherwise this would be a tragic waste. Oh my god, wow. This may be like one of the most fully fleshed out houses I have ever been in Second Life. Oh my god. Every single thing in here is like, oh my god, the buttons on the DVD player. Oh my god. And this basket. Like every picture frame has like 20 parts. Wow. I'm in awe, honestly. This is some next level Second Lifery in here. Oh my god, the puzzle box. Every piece of the puzzle inside. Oh my god. Only in Second Life, people. Only in Second Life. What is this? A giant bag full of hot dogs? Oh no, those are probably cheese puffs or something. They look like hot dogs, to be honest. Or sausages or Wiener Schnitzel or something. Wow. So realistic. Like, I can't believe this. Okay, so this person has like a chiclet fetish or something. It's like everything in here has these like chiclet button keys, and they're not even like squares. They're like rounded edges. You know, every rounded edge is like an extra 30 polygons or something. Wow, even the coins? Seriously. It's like this person is trying to crash the sim. I'm gonna be really disappointed if this is just a texture keyboard. Oh, wow, they missed a golden opportunity there, honestly. Next time, make sure you get a fully articulated 101 key keyboard laptop, okay? I mean, with rounded keys, chiclet keys. Otherwise, you're just, I don't know, you're skimping, honestly. Wow, look at this couch. All these ruffles. It really is like they picked every single asset off the marketplace that they could find that had the most like projections and greebles. Even this notepad. Wow, that's actually incredibly detailed. Wonder who made this. Soy. Man, soy. I wonder if soy was one of the moles, because I'm seeing like so much stuff by soy in Bay City. This is like a legit, straight up real house. I mean, I've been in people's real homes where they had less stuff than this on their like curio cabinets. I saw this for sale on the marketplace. If these cabinets aren't all stuffed with remote controls, I'm gonna be really disappointed. Oh my god, look at this phone. Huh. I don't know, maybe that's just a characteristic of high quality props is a lot of chiclet keys, you know? Every kibble in the food dish. Oh, that TV tray is... Oh, there's two stacked on top of each other. I wonder if that was on purpose or... Huh. Weird. Wow, this is like one of the most detailed fridges I've ever seen. You see stuff stuck to fridges sometimes in Second Life, but not like to this level, like pencil box and all sorts of like crafting stuff. Although it doesn't open. Oh, it says I'm too far away to touch the door, so it probably does open. It's probably full of remote controls. I'm sure if I open that up, just like 30 remote controls would spill out. Nice waffle iron. Oh, it's part of a set. I'm gonna sip some tea. I'm actually getting hoarse. I've been streaming for so long. It's either that or coronavirus. Who knows? Oh my god. Every time I think that they've outdone themselves with detail, I see a new prop that has like even more detail. Look at this egg beater. Textures haven't all resed yet. Some of them are still a little blurry. Yeah, the more poly the better. I guess I agree. I mean, if if you have the capabilities of rendering and displaying, and like in the future when we have GPUs that are basically an individual GPU that's as powerful as all the computers on Earth currently, then rendering all of this stuff would be effortless. Or even like a quantum computer, like a Stadia, like Google would have like a, you know, a giant floating island or maybe a submarine sea lab full of quantum computers that are then beaming all the rendering of clients through fiber optic cables to the surface. In which case they could handle all this. I'm sorry, I'm going back to where I was before just because I'm like trying to see if everything has res now. Maybe I can turn off their alarm system. Nope, just a little too far away. Alright. I'm kind of wondering, oh, of course there's a second floor. Why wouldn't there be a second floor? And I haven't even seen everything in the living room yet. Oh my god. It's a nice hydrangea. Is that crazy? That's the correct date on that phone. And the correct time. That's pretty nuts. Hmm. Look at this incense burner. Wow. Alright, time to go upstairs. Oh my god. There's just so much. This is amazing. Watch like the upstairs is completely empty. That would be kind of hilarious, but I don't see that happening. God, the attention to detail. Like the clothes on the floor. That's pretty cool. Like this is like uncanny valley level realism. I hope you don't mind if I borrow like $100,000 in your gold bar. Like I'm actually getting creeped out by this, and I don't know if this has ever happened to me to this level in Second Life. Like I don't even know how to describe the emotions I'm feeling right now. Like it's a European charging plug. Like I literally feel like there is a ghost or like a virtual entity that lives in this house in Second Life. Because it's so detailed, it's just hard to believe that anybody would put this much effort into a virtual environment if they didn't literally live there. And yet, we all know that that's impossible. You can't live in a virtual world. I mean, you could probably do an awful lot to approximate living in a virtual world. Like a full VR immersion rig with in a sensory deprivation tank. I don't know, like but I feel like I'm in a real person's house. Only not like a real person, but like if an avatar somehow became self-aware and like moved into a house in Second Life and was like decorating it and moving things around and stuff. Thankfully the bathroom's just a little bit less detailed than everywhere else, so I'm sort of like coming back to my senses. Jesus Christ, look at this. The bubble blowers in there are articulated. That is whack-a-mole. Those are really nice towels. That's a very good normal map there. Digital bathroom scale. Yeah, I have to think. I'm just gonna say it right now. I'm calling this. This is like the most complete and realistic house build slash composition I have ever seen in Second Life. I think it probably may be one of the most, if not the most, realistic, complete builds in Second Life. Like this is out of control. Whoops. That was an accident. Just one click and it instantly placed me on there. I didn't like try to sit or anything. Now I'm gonna get kicked off the property before I see all the rooms. Oh well. Maybe if I'm lucky it won't send me so far away that I won't be able to keep exploring. Oh my god. That's cool. Trico. Jesus. I can't even imagine how all this much must have spent. Like, if every one of these props is like 500 to. Well, some of these props are going to be a lot more pricey than others. But, Yeah, I'm imagining a few 100,000 lindens easily. Maybe a few 100,000 per room. Wow, that's some really high quality baking on that. Haha, that's funny. Like, I've been ejected right as the toilet flushes. Neotoy Star got flushed down the toilet into the Bay City canal system. Luckily, it didn't send me too far away, so I can still look around. And God knows, like, how many. I would say probably like 75% of the things in here seem to be scripted too. Well, that might be a little high. Maybe like 50% at least. But that is like an amazing amount of processing overhead too, just for this the script accessibility of everything. I'm stuck on the ceiling fan. God, there's just so much to look at. Like, every single room is like, Jesus, look at the outlets. Oh my God. Every room you can spend like 5-10 minutes looking around in there. Wow, I finally found an empty room. Holy cow. So even in this house, which is like one of the most ornate I've ever seen. Oh, that's kind of funny. There's like a low poly giraffe head in there, almost as if a self-referencing ironic statement where they were acknowledging the fact that one room in their house was very lowly attended in terms of detail and fidelity of props. God, how could they even afford the land impact? Like, I'm not even, like... That's just gotta be, like, so many prims worth of land impact. And it's not even, like, just the inside, too. Like, oh my God, look at these tile mosaics out here. It's too bad they're, like, in the grass. You can barely see them, but even those... Yeah, this is almost like a stress testing house where they're just like pushing things to the absolute limit to see like every roof tile is an individual object. That's crazy. Yeah, so yeah, I know, right? The prim count, like let's see, is there a way to tell the land impact? Okay, that's one object, 144. It's like the whole house is 100. Oh no, that's just the bottom, or is that? I guess that's the whole house. That's a really good land impact. I don't even see how that could be possible. But I feel like if I was to inspect almost any object in here, it would be like comparable. In fact, let's see, I want to see like, okay, like, that one's 255 right there. This is like incredibly tricky. I'm sure a lot of the smaller props have a reasonable land impact, but in terms of, yeah, like that one's only 7. I don't know. Anyway, this is a mystery that I'm not going to be able to get to the bottom of in this video or in any other. Oh, that's cool. It just sent me right outside the gate. Like, it didn't shoot me off into space like a lot of home security systems do in Second Life. I noticed something else too, like outside. Oh right, there's, I think this other adjacent area that's also fenced in is like the kids. Like, I'm gonna float over the canal because I think that's like a neutral safe zone. And then like this too is part of that house property. So the land that they're occupying might actually be really large, which would explain how they can get away with such a high land impact. But I did have my suspicions because, you know, a lot of the people who settled Bay City or the moles, like super passionate second lifers who've been with Linden Labs from the beginning and who are like, of course, going to be like on the cutting, bleeding edge of the platform and are going to know all the like top creators and stuff. So it's only natural that Bay City would have a higher kind of percentage of like the extreme end of quality and realism. Oh, there's more of those mosaics down there. That's pretty cool. Like someone probably like hand placed all those little chunks. I mean, instead of like just making it as a mesh and then uploading it. Yeah, this has been kind of a mind-bending experience in this particular parcel. Like honestly, I was really impressed by a few other Second Life sims that I went to where it was like the realism was just kind of like off the charts, but this like takes the cake. This is on a completely different level than that. It's like at least a magnitude above the last place I was in that kind of blew my socks off. So well done. But on the other hand, man, my frame rate was just like it was choking my computer out the whole time. I might have to do a whole series just on Bay City. I don't like the looks of this. It seems very sinister that there's this poor fox kind of splayed out on the table with all these tools and implements laying around like an operation is about to commence. The hell is that thing? Familiar with a lot of tools, but that one doesn't, is it like a wire former? Or? Oh, tire machine. Of course, one of my major gaps in my mechanical engineering knowledge is automobiles and internal combustion engines, mainly because I have so much contempt for the technology. Uh-oh, I've been banned. Wow. I don't even know what parcel they were talking about. Oh, just that tiny little area there. Huh. Interesting. Okay, here's another house that looks to be totally off the charts. Kind of a western theme. Look at that, like, lap siding there. Oh god. I don't know where the ban line is. I'm just gonna have to like go back to the main road and hope that I'm out of the ban zone. The parceling in Bay City is really weird. One day I hope I end up seeing a wind chime in Second Life that behaves realistically, but I haven't seen one yet. They either just spin or they don't do anything. Something I have been curious about, like, I guess I consider myself a creator in Second Life, but I don't have a residence in Second Life. I don't even own any virtual land, or I don't lease any virtual land. I did at one point, a long time ago, but I haven't in a long time. And I just have to wonder, like, the creators who are like in the top 10 in Second Life, do they own land? And if so, what does it look like? Like, what do their Sims look like? And I'm not talking about like their shop Sims, because I mean, a lot of those are accessible and publicly accessible, but like, what about their like personal land where they like their house, you know, their homes? Like, what do they decorate with? Do they decorate with like their own props, or do they decorate with like the other creators, like the other 9 in the top 10? You know, I just have a feeling like that last house that I visited, that would be what, like one of the main like Apple Fall or Dust Bunny people, like their house would be something like that. Hey, look, here's another miner's lantern. This is a really nice specimen. Even though the textures haven't rezzed yet, I'm gonna give this like an 8.5 out of 10, because that's a pretty solid construction there, and I can tell that the texturing's good too. Whoever lives here likes foxes. That much is obvious. Yeah, sweet tea recipe. Could totally do that. Yeah, thanks, Creosin. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I figured that out after I inspected. There's a pretty massive mental lag for the chat for me, because I get so distracted by what I'm looking at in world that I only glance over there at the chat every like 5 minutes or so. I keep trying to open the doors and I'm like too far away. That's cool. That's super cool. It's like a cursed item. Oh yeah, and I'm banned because I was in the property lens for too long, so now I can't inspect anything inside. Damn it. That's cool. Is that the right time? 1:58. Yeah, that's the right time on there. Second Life time. It's a beautiful clock, and it hasn't even like fully rezzed yet. I'm definitely gonna like probably circle back after I've scoped out a bunch of the other things in here. Oh, that's so funny. They've got like this super expensive, fancy looking TV like stuck up on a couple of wooden crates. I look at those specular maps there. Specular and normal. Oh, that was just the first floor. God, no wonder I'm getting like the world's lowest frame rate. This whole region is just chock full of these like insane houses. This person must have like every Fox piece of Fox memorabilia in Second Life. Alright, I think that was everything basically. Is that the same clock? It's a different clock. It's like the grandfather edition. It's like beer pong. Honestly, I don't really understand why so many people put up ban lines and security orbs. Like, what are they afraid of? I mean, I can understand it if your house is like chock full of like contraband pornography or something, but otherwise, like, seriously, what's the harm in letting people just like walk around in your house when you're not home? Like, if it's actually kind of cool. If somebody comes by and starts like griefing you or harassing you, you can just you can ban them then, you know? That's everything in that house, I think. I don't know. I might have missed a few rooms. In fact, I'm sure I missed a few rooms, but I don't know. This is pretty painful for me on even on my relatively fast computer. It's just like chugging along so slow. God, what did like Bizarro Wonderland Second Life is? I'm actually kind of I'm spooked now about setting foot on any of these parcels because I keep thinking that I'm gonna hit another one of those ban security orbs, and then I'm not gonna be able to inspect anything, which is kind of important to me. So that's cool. They have like a houseboat, and then they built like a little elevated lake for their houseboat to hang out on. God, there's so much to look at. Like within each house, there's so much content to examine, and then in this block, there are just so many amazing houses and buildings to look at too. It's really quite incredible. Overall, though, I'd just say Bay City, it seems to me like on some level is a success. Is nothing more than a, even if it was just a showcase of it's curious, a showcase of the potential of Second Life. Is just like there isn't any other platform that can even come close to this, except for maybe like Unity or something. But even then, like it's not as accessible. The fact that this is all like the vast majority of this is user generated content, and it's all like more or less user accessible too. At a moment's notice, you just teleport in and you're there, and stuff starts to res, and you can see it all. And you really can live your dream life in this world, apparently, and some people clearly are. Either that or they're just like incredibly dedicated to their hobbies. That's kind of cool. That's a nice little fitness center. It's got like a climbing wall and workout gear and tanning beds. Although I don't think that would help neotoy's story very much. He could spend a lifetime on one of those tanning beds, and he would be just as white as newly fallen snow, just like he always has been. Ugh, I gotta get out of that area. It's just too laggy. In fact, I'm thinking about changing my draw distance, and I really want to check out the harbor district over here, because this was something I do remember from the Wikipedia article. There's a yacht club, which it looks like is very, very active to some degree, although the idea of there being a yacht club in Second Life is kind of hilarious to me. I don't even know where to begin. Alright, cat stop. We have an adorable little cat here, so I must stop to look at this cat. That's one of my rules. It's a very cryptic menu. Just gonna jump the gate. Okay, apparently I'm banned on many parcels now. I didn't even do anything wrong. My only crime is existing. Why do they hate me so much? There we go. Hey, this looks kind of like Mango, my cat. He has a little bit of the sort of Abyssinian tabby kind of pattern. Actually, that's not one of the better cats I've seen in Second Life, but still kind of cute. Oh my god, a navy chair. Nice. This is a lot nicer of a model than the one I made in Second Life, although mine was the classic navy chair. That's one of their like high top editions, one of the more newer models. Emiko, the famous 20th century manufacturer of nearly indestructible anodized aluminum chairs. Oh, you made the that fox, huh? That's cool. It was weird, but I had this strange like feeling when I saw that. I don't know how to explain it, but I was like, because you just made that comment about how there wasn't anything in there that you had made, but then I was like, that fox on the wall, maybe he made that. It's kind of a weird moment. Because it was so different than all the other things, all the other foxes. This is pretty cool. Man, that's a really high quality fireplace. Apple Fall. Although that's the first Apple Fall thing that I've actually scried this session, so that's a pretty good record. That's a beautiful clock. More Apple Fall. Great, I jinxed myself. It's gonna be all Apple Fall from here on out. Weird, it's like a wood navy chair. Alright, I think I've seen enough of this little bungalow. It just kind of caught my eye because of that like gothic stone architecture, which I'm a little bit fond of, I guess. Alright, where do I start here if I want to take a look at the yacht club? This looks like a store right here. And no idea what this is. Like a fueling station, I guess. Oh cool, there's a seaplane. There's like the offloading ramp over here. Wow, this is pretty well made. That's the extent of the habitable portion of the aircraft. Yeah, I might even be able to fly this thing. Let's try it out. I guess not. It's definitely one of the higher quality aircraft I've seen in Second Life. It's cool when it kicks you out, it puts you on the wing. Alright, let's do a quick fly over to the yacht club. I'm assuming this is the yacht club. Okay, fire station. Alright, let's see if this updated map is going to give us any information here. I'm just going to look around while that's rezzing. Insert yo dog joke here, because I'm not going to make one today. I've decided that it's played out, finally, after like the venerable 10 years. Wow, that's kind of cool. There's like a little sleeping cabin in here. Doesn't look super comfortable, but chilling like a villain. You can really like sense the passion of the creators in Second Life whenever you are looking at stuff like this, because I mean, even having little to no knowledge, if you're just like a casual Second Lifer, it becomes really obvious the difference in quality between assets after even just a short time in world. But I can tell you, as a creator, the amount of energy that goes into producing things like this and making them interactive, because that's really the key. Like, it's one thing to build like a static prop. It's difficult, but it's not like super difficult. But then to make it actually something that an avatar in world can interact with, that is on a higher level. And then to go from there to scripting that object which the avatar can interact with to be like almost like a realistic artifact that behaves similarly to how it would in real life, that's like an exponential step above just making a realistic prop. So you can see the work that goes into one of these boats is like it's an extreme amount of labor that no amount of profit that you get back from spending the amount of time that it takes to make that thing real in Second Life could ever counterbalance, you know? Well, some people, I guess that's probably not 100% true. Some people, God, that is like the most adorable thing I've ever seen. It's like a baby tugboat. Can I ride it? Oh, I'm not the owner. Oh, he's going for a swim. Haha. I knew old Neo would get his feet wet sometime today. Yeah. So what I was getting to is like the reason these creations are so incredible is because the people who make them love what they do. They love the things they create. They love the process of creation. And that's the only reason that these things are as amazing as they are, because no amount of money or influence or badgering is ever going to get somebody to spend as much time and effort creating assets like this for Second Life as that passion and that love can. So I don't know, I think that's worth a lot. It's just incredibly impressive. It's a real feat. Jeez, look at this one, man. That's a real like cozy looking yacht there with like all the lawn chairs on top and cut fully stocked with biscuits. First aid, look at all this stuff. Wow, this one is like majorly deluxe. So like just a little conference room kind of in the bow. Alright, I'm at the wheel. Only the owner. It's a shame. But at least that one didn't kick me off like all the others. So that's kind of cool. Oh wow, a fireboat. That is really cool. I've seen a few of these in real life. They're actually pretty amazing. Amazing, especially when they're like pumping out all that water. Oh, this is crazy detailed. I even got some hard hats in here. That's nuts. Wow, it's got like a whole like tool area too. It's really impressive. This looks like it was made by the same creator who did that other boat. Alright, I never thought I'd say this, but I'm actually getting a little sick of boats. And let's see. Wow, I've almost been streaming for 2 hours, so Jesus, I got carried away. I gotta admit, like, Bay City completely sucked me in, totally captivated all of my senses. I was a resident of Bay City there for almost 2 hours. That was pretty incredible. So, yeah, return to Bay City. Bay City has grown. It's pretty cool. I highly recommend anybody else out there check out Bay City. It's a real experience. You'll see some of the coolest assets in Second Life, apparently. I know I did. So, yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you all enjoyed this extra long Sunday edition of Neotoy Story Explores Second Life. And thanks for all the comments, and Creo-san and everybody else for helping to educate me and chiming in and stuff. And yeah, I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend. Stay safe, friends.